This is HU-WEI. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I just couldn't resist to stop. Of course, seen all the lights. I mean, look at this. How could you not stop? So they've actually closed off this section of the road to put all these lights up. And by the looks of it, in the daytime, there's little market stalls here. I'm still actually trying to figure out what it's for. It looks like there's some sort of... I'm wondering whether it's for some sort of a marathon or... We shall find out. We shall ask some people. But there's lots of stages here. Could just be like a market stall, but I think it's some sort of a celebration of some sort. Yeah, there you go. Now, if I could read Chinese, I would know what it was for. Cool. It's very relaxing down here. They've got music playing as well. Hopefully you can hear me properly because I've got a mask on. So I'll take the mask off just in case you can't hear me. But it's called Late Autumn Beauty Banquets in HU-WEI. I hope I'm saying that right. I really don't like mispronouncing things, but I think one thing I've learned recently, which is, well, it's not a good or a bad thing, it's just one of those things. But you learn how you read a word in English when you're an English speaker. You learn a word in English from a young child, and you know, like HU-WEI. Whereas those words, when they're written in China or Taiwan, you pronounce them differently. They sound differently. So like E is Look at the beautiful colours. It's a good picture, right? Yeah, so I am actually trying to learn some Mandarin Chinese, but it is extremely, extremely difficult. I am going to sign up for some classes though, that's for sure. Yeah, it is difficult, but signing up for some classes I think is the best. So I have been told that they do classes at some of the universities, Chinese classes, Mandarin classes. So I'm gonna inquire about those. I've also been speaking to a Chinese tutor, which is on a one-on-one basis, but that's actually quite expensive. So apparently it is better though, because if you go to university classes, from what I've been told, it's generally a class of, a small class, but maybe 6 to 10 people. But apparently when it's a tutor, if they're like a qualified professional tutor, they're much more hard on you, and they kind of, which is a good thing, because they kind of make you learn quicker, basically. Yeah, these are all, you can see lights on the ground. I mean, I must admit, to me, I thought this was like, this reminded me of a road where people finish, you know, after a marathon. They kind of run down here and to the finish line. That's what I kind of thought it was. But no, it's not. No, it's actually, so the translation is Late Autumn Beauty Banquet, but from what I can see, it's basically showcasing lots of different businesses and their products, handmade items, things like that. Just showcasing what this local town, which I hope I'm pronouncing right, HU-WEI, HU-WEI. It's just showcasing what the local vendors and businesses have on offer here in the local town, which is pretty cool. And all down the side here is a little, almost like a little canal running alongside. And it must be quite a big thing, because they've closed off this whole road from one end to the other. I'm at the other end nearly now. But yeah, I think that's one of the big differences in not just Taiwan where I am, but I think in a lot of Asia, and in fact not just Asia, probably I would say hotter countries in general. So there you go, there's the poster, the times that they're open. Sorry, yeah, as I was saying about the differences in Asia and hotter countries, I think one of the big differences is you live in the UK, and I can't speak about other countries in that part of the world, you know, Northern Europe or whatever. I can't speak for those countries because I haven't lived there, but definitely the UK, especially in the winter, and in fact, you know what, not just the winter, I mean more so in the winter, but I personally think all year round, there's not, in my opinion, once the sun goes down in the UK, in a lot of the towns in the UK, there's nothing to do really. The sort of your sort of average night out or things to do on a night out in the UK is go to the cinema, maybe go to a restaurant, and most probably go to a pub. That's about your lot. You know, and in the winter it's so miserable and wet and cold, you don't really want to go out anyway. You don't want to go out and get wet and cold and maybe sick, so you tend just to stay in, and it's quite a miserable existence, I think. And now that I'm actually experiencing what it's like to be in a warmer country, I'm realising that I've wasted so much of my life sat indoors because there was nothing else to do in the country I lived in. And now that I'm here, sorry, there's building work going on in this big building behind me. 1 second, I'll wait. Hopefully that's a bit better. Yeah, now that I'm here in Asia, I'm realising I'm spending so much time out and about, and there's so many things to do. You know, they put so many different events on, and shows, and they have street shows and markets and events and showcases and all sorts of things. And then different things for different times of the year and seasons, and there's always something to do and something to go and watch here in Taiwan. And it just makes me realise, like, if I was back in the UK now, it would, I mean, this time of year in the UK, you're looking at it's about 3 degrees. So, and it gets dark at like 4 o'clock. So, you kind of wouldn't really want to go out much anyway in the weather, especially if it's raining and windy on top of that, which it is a lot in the UK. And even then, even if the weather is good in the UK, there's not actually that much to do. They don't put things on like they do here. And that's probably why the culture in the UK is really... I mean, I don't think it's a very good culture, really, now that I'm seeing other cultures. Because our culture is just to go to the pub, pretty much, or cinema, or... Yeah, there's not much else really to do. You know, I know a lot of my friends who have got fed up of that lifestyle. Instead of going to the pub or whatever, they'll go to the gym. But then again, even the gym, that's only open till about 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night. So if you're sat at home at 10 p.m. and you're like, okay, I want to do something. In the UK, it's like pretty much pub, that's about it. You might be lucky to find a coffee shop that's open late, but let's face it, who wants coffee at 10 o'clock at night? So I would assume there's probably other hot countries that have events on like this at night time too, that do things in the street, that do shows and what have you. Let me know in the comments. I'll be interested to know. And you know, I didn't realise until I've just looked up, but I'm walking underneath loads of cherry blossom trees, so I bet in the daytime it looks really beautiful here, actually, when the sun's shining. But I didn't even, that's what I'm saying, I came across this by mistake. I was just driving past it and I was like, seeing the bright lights and the colours, and I was like, wow, I've got to stop. And that's the thing, there's so many things to see here, like, there's not enough time in the day. I'm trying to get home. Yeah, it's really cool.